Hi, I'm Chris, and welcome to this week's tutorial. Let's draw together. In this lesson, we're going to be sketching a cute little bunny, and this is going to be part of a two-part series. So all the cute and quick series will be two-parters. So in the first part, we're going to be sketching, and the second part will be painting. So you'll want to make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification so that you will find that second video right as soon as it's released so you can finish up. So you see here, this will be our final cute little bunny all finished. So today's portion, we're going to be figuring out how to use lovely little shapes just to create this cute little bunny with these tulips. So for this lesson, if you'd like to follow along with me using the exact same materials, you're welcome to do so. You can go and find them in the description below. They're totally free. They're part of the Illustrator starter kit, and you can find them down below and grab those and install them. Or of course, you can use whatever materials you'd like. So today I'm going to be using the Living Water canvas that is provided there. And so that it gives that lovely texture, you can see, just that watercolor texture. And I'm going to start on the blank layer, and I'm going to be going into the Illustrator starter kit and finding all of my brushes. And we'll start, if you go down to the Character Design Academy, I'm going to be using that sketching pencil just to start. And you can have just a dark color, black, brown, whatever you prefer. And I'm also going to have the Pretty Little Lines, the quick daily sketches. Those are going to be the swatches that I'll use for this project as well. We don't have to worry too much for our sketching. You can use whatever color you'd like, but when we start painting, those are the ones you'll want to have. All right, so let's start with his head. I'm just gonna start with a circle. So just warm arm up. And my pencil is at about 30. You can see with more pressure. So just do a loose circle. And then I'm going to bring out the cheeks here. So just kind of make a shape like this. And if you like, I find it easier to turn this way, just because that's my natural curve of my arm. So you can see I'm super messy at this point. We're just sort of carving out these shapes. So just like that. I'm going to have the head just slightly turning, so I'll just put a center line here so you kind of know where it is. Almost straight on, but just a little bit to the side, just for a little bit of interest, like that. I'm gonna take my eraser and I'm just gonna erase some of the stuff that I've done here. Just round that out. Okay, so there is our little bunny shape. Now I'm gonna have one ear going this way and one ear going that way, so you can just draw a line for direction if you'd like. And then I'm just gonna bring a shape, again using the natural arc of the way my hand actually goes, just to create that line there. And then we'll bring it back this way, so almost like a bit of a petal shape. Same thing for this one. This one will be a little bit longer just because technically this ear is a little bit closer, and I think it makes it a little bit more of an interesting shape too, so they're not identical there. So it will be a little bit bigger because it is in front and that's behind. So this line you'll keep. This line you would, when we're doing our good copy, you wouldn't have it there because you'd see that come up in front. So if we did a little curve here for the inside part of the ear, you kind of see like the little bit of hair there. And this one would be behind. Okay. Now let's just do the body. So for a cute proportion, I'd like to have it a little bit over half and half. So if you kind of eyeball this, that would be half, right about there. And then I'm gonna add his feet, so it's a little bit bigger than that. So let's just say that his actual body will end about there. So let's just see. Let's have him face his body a little bit to the side because I want him to be holding flowers. I don't want the flowers to be right in front of his face, of course, so I kind of want them over here, that sort of area. So let's start with sort of a line of action. So our body shape might be kind of like that, his body. And then we're gonna just sort of, I like a nice little another circle down here. So his tummy and his bum be kind of there. So let's kind of have this, like the curve of his back a little bit, a little rounded bum there, and then his little body. So it's sort of a, I don't know, a bean shape. Kind of like that. Okay, so that would be sort of where the front of his tummy would be. So that would mean that his arms, like the, his shoulder would be about here. And of course the other arm you wouldn't see, but it would be on the other side. So that tummy's gonna come out in front. So kind of have your arm here, and then it's gonna come, let's see, sort of in front of his chest. So making kind of these tube-like shapes. So I know that's gonna connect there. I might wanna kind of have it so that his shoulder reads there. I'm just gonna erase this here, obviously you wouldn't see the hole that his arm comes out of, but that just helps me create that shape. So, and also show you where that works. Okay, so then bring this arm is kind of coming around and meeting it here. Okay. So then of course you take your eraser, you can get rid of that little part, and there are his little hands together. Okay. So let's make sure that we balance him with his feet so he doesn't look like he's toppling over. So I'm just going to make sure that his one foot is sort of more out here. And this one can kind of be over here. So because we have him on an angle, your feet aren't going to be, you don't have to have your feet right on the same line. You're going to bring this foot out, the one that's closer, again, a little bit more forward. That will help read a little bit better. So I have these little, sort of a tube shape, really simple. Actually, I don't want them too long. I still want pretty short, kind of like that. And this foot, like I said, a little bit higher, just so that it reads as behind. Okay, kind of getting the idea. All right, I kind of want this back a little bit more suede, so I'm just going to erase that. Give a little curve. Makes the shape a little bit more interesting, I think. Oops, my eraser. Okay. I'm always trying to think of the outline and the shape, and that makes it more interesting. Now we'll give him a nice big fluffy tail, like so. Okay, so I think he's looking pretty cute. I might just want to move this foot out. I feel like he might need a little bit more stability this way. So simply I can just take my selection tool with free hand selected and just draw this here if I don't want to redraw it again. And then take the arrow, I have uniform selected, so, and then just use the green toggle just to move that. And I can kind of eyeball it just to see. That probably works a little bit nicer. Okay, because it's our rough sketch, we're allowed to do whatever we want at this point. It does not have to be neat and tidy. Just, I felt like that might make him look like he has a bit more stability. Okay, so let's just pop in our flowers here, just sort of roughly mark out where we want them to be. I kind of want, you know what, I actually might change where his head is a little bit. So we're gonna go to the selection tool again, same with still having freehand on, just tracing his head. Use the arrow and the green toggle. I'm just gonna tilt it a little bit, bring it back. I think I kind of like that better. Just so that when we're putting the flowers in, he's not leaning too far into them. He's kind of leaning away from them a little bit. That will help with that part. Okay, because I kind of want, I definitely want a flower here. So pressed up on his cheek. Another one behind. So just draw circles for this just to map out where our tulips are going to be. Maybe this one's sort of going that way. And just have some direction of where we're going to be putting these stems in like that. We'll have, you know, some leaves coming out like so, and a little bit of filler at some point as well. Okay, so I think that works. Let's give this bunny a little face. We can just go and take our eraser and just, even softly, I'm just using light pressure. Just if you want to keep the lines there, you can just give a soft pressure and erase those a little bit. Okay, so let's give him a little nose along this line, little triangle. That's pretty straightforward. Now, again, to keep it really cute, I'm going to have the eyes lower. So along this line here, so where his nose is, if you want to just draw a line like in a curve, keeping with that round shape, just simply draw in little eyes like this. Okay. Now let's give him a little smile. So line down, a little scoop. Maybe that's a little bit much. Little scoop, and just a little sort of curve there. And I would like to give him some teeth. So just a little rectangle with a subtle line in between. And then on the sides, we'll just fill that in a little bit, just create that gap. Maybe a little curve just to show his little nose there. All right. Lovely. And of course, we'll put in his cheeks and stuff over here. You know what? I'm just going to redraw my eye. I feel like this one went a little bit low. So now's the time to just step back, have a look, just see what you need to adjust with your shapes and your proportions and your placement. Easier now than before you start, doing all your good copy and all your nice line work and all that kind of stuff. Just wanting to have this reed is going out here in a softer curve, his little cheek, so there's sort of an indent there. Like that. So just refine, just zoom back, just make sure. Kind of maybe want this to be a little bit more rounded here. Felt like that might be a little bit harsh of a line. Okay. Actually, I'm even going to take my selection tool and just reshape this a little bit. Maybe bring it up a little bit. Maybe like that. Okay. Just looking at the shapes here, making sure I like how they look, and just erasing that. Okay, and I was saying we're going to bring in the cheeks here. We're sort of marking out where we'll color them in. I don't think I'm going to draw the cheeks like that, but then we will have our little, little dots and your little whiskers. I think that's good for our rough sketch. So now let's go on to our final sketch. So I'm just going to go and turn down the opacity of this layer. So tap on the N and just drag that down to wherever you're comfortable. Mine's going to be around 18 or so. Just add a new layer by tapping on the plus sign. And then I'm going to continue on with that sketching pencil. And I am going to use this brown color here in the quick daily sketches. That should be good. My brush size is going to be at around 22. Just do whatever feels comfortable to you. And I'm just gonna sort of sketch just like little bits of fur, just very sketchy. I'm not gonna outline it all perfectly like that. You can if you wish. But for this, I'm just gonna have it just, as you can see, simply sketching like that. Rounding the top, I don't want them too pointy. Feel free to turn your canvas, whatever makes it the easiest for you to, and the most comfortable for you to draw. That's what's so great about this program. You just maneuver it around however you want. Because I just like doing it how my hand moves naturally instead of trying to do some weird gymnastics. Okay, so let's take some time and just sort of concentrate on this ear part. So I'm going to have it fairly fluffy, and I can kind of bring some of the hairs in here. Just a few, like that. Maybe you want them to have a few more hairs here. And you'll see them in behind as well, sort of like that. All right, just outline here. Try to think about where the hairs would naturally sort of go if you're doing this outline like that. Like they might stick out a little bit more on his cheek there. And come around here. Might be a little bit lighter under his chin because his head might, you know, I don't want it to look super separate like I've drawn it originally. I just kind of want it to blend together, but show that he does have a bit of a chin. Not sure how much I need in here because I'll have my flowers going over, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so you can see without the layer how that looks. Just nice and sketchy. All right, let's continue on and just draw this arm here. I'm not going to give too much definition, like I'm not going to give him fingers or anything. I'm just going to leave it pretty simple. His little tummy. I'm going to have the tummy going in front, this line, so that that foot looks like it's behind. All right, and then this little curve here. Okay, and his little tail, I'm sure you probably want it to be a little bit more like fluffy looking, so have more of the hairs looser and a little bit more pronounced. And I'm going to do some more at the bottom so that it looks a little bit more shaded, which of course we can do when we paint, but so just make sure that this line is pronounced, that it's in front of that tail. So just making sure of that. Same with the bottom. I like to make sure that where he's grounded, like where his feet meet, that line is a little bit more defined as well. It just gives it weight to it. Same with here, anything that's kind of coming in front. Just makes the readability even clearer. Okay, so that's looking good. Why don't we do the flowers and then we'll put in the facial features. So these are going to be super simple tulips. I'm just going to draw a shape like this. And then I'm just like literally using the circles that we did. One to the side, to the side. And then we'll see sort of on the other side what they look like that. Just really simple. And then add some thickness to your stem and have that come in there. I would like a leaf or sort of, yeah, leaf there, but I don't want it to hit its face too close. Keep it far enough away. So that'll be like that. All right, this one I want it quite curved, so we'll have it sort of going like that. These little shapes. And then you'll see the open side there. Again, some thickness to your stems. Just make sure that these lines are nice and dark. You can see how dark you need them so that they all work together. Okay, then have another little leaf there. And this one, let's have it sort of so it's overlapping. So I'm just gonna have it kind of come from there, like so. And then the ones behind. And that stem we will have down there. Let's see, maybe like that. Okay. Then we can just do a little other leaf there. And let's just have a leaf there. Just so we can kind of fill that area in. Then just, you know, can kind of interpret things here, just have it loose and not connecting you want that sort of style. Just some fillers. So little circles. Just adds a little bit more texture to it, makes it a little bit more interesting. And we'll just kind of do one of these. Let's see, where else do we need something? We need one more sort of circle area because I kind of want it balanced. So if there's two of something, sometimes that oddly enough doesn't look balanced. Okay, so that looks good. I'm happy with those little simple flowers. So then we can go and make sure that his arm is making sense in there and complete his face there. Okay, you can draw his little eyes. Try to make these the same size as much as you can. I'm just gonna move mine over. I realize I'm a little bit too far over here. Okay, and then the little nose. And you can choose to fill it in or not. I might leave it like this because I might color it in pink. We'll check. All right. Little teeth and color that in. Okay. And let's do his little dots. And these just flick as best you can. We won't see the other side. Let's just turn off our guide layer here, our rough sketch, and see. Now you can see I've drawn these because I was using a solid line much darker. So you might want to go back and just darken up your lines here. It's adding a little bit more weight to them, just so it's balanced. Depending on how yours all turned out. Okay, very good, looking cute. All right, so there is a little bunny. So if you want to darken up your lines even more, depending on the look you're going for, you can always go and duplicate this layer and just give it even more weight if you wish. Depends on what you want. Okay, so there is a cute little bunny all sketched and ready to paint, and we'll be doing that next week. And if you're watching this and the video's out already, I'll have it linked below as well, so you can go ahead and color this all in and have a finished, adorable bunny. And if you do want to learn more about character design, especially cute character design, I do have a full course over on Pretty Little Lines, and I will attach that below. It's called Character Design Academy Cute Edition, and there's loads more stuff to learn there. So I hope you enjoyed drawing this bunny today with me, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you'll be notified of new tutorials just like this in the coming weeks. So love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.